This video will help introduce how to digitize your 27th letter for the exercise 2 for Intro to Typography. So you'll notice under exercise 2 on Blackboard, these are the fonts. If you don't have the typeface on your computer, you can probably find it in this zipped folder. You want to make sure that you download the font and add it to your font book in order to get this to work. There's also, you'll want to download the exercise 2 template sample.zip. That's going to have the template in it that you're going to work on for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and download that now. So what you'll initially want to do in Illustrator is open a document that's letter sized. And, these concepts should be familiar to you from computer graphics, and you'll have your sketch on hand. So right now I have my sketch on hand right here, and I have created these, and my typeface is Century Schoolbook. And this is going to be quick and down and dirty and rough. You'll want to take a little bit more time than I am to do this, but these are my uppercase and lowercase pairs. So what I did is I took my sketch and I figured out that I need a capital G, lowercase g, a lowercase v, and a lowercase r. And then you want to type those out on your letter-sized Illustrator file and make them 300 point. So make sure that the type size is 300 points. Once you've typed them out, I'm going to go ahead and copy them. So I'm going to do a copy paste. And I'm going to drag these to the paste board just in case I need them again or if I make any mistakes. The first thing you need to do is you need to highlight or select all of your letters, and you need to go up to Type, Create Outlines. So I went up to my Type menu and I created outlines. This way you can now, these letter forms are turned into points with anchor points and stuff, and you can start making your edits. There's a bunch of ways that you can make your edits. You can use your direct selection arrow and delete points, or you can use the eraser tool. The eraser tool works just like the brush tool in Photoshop. Your open and closed brackets make the brush bigger and smaller. That's about all the control I know how to use for the eraser tool. The eraser tool will not work if you didn't outline your type, so that is very important. So I'm going to go over to my letter form, and I'm going to see that I have the ear of the R is over by this G. So what I'm going to do is erase some of this stuff. I also don't have a bottom area, so I'm going to erase this bit of my letter form. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my direct selection arrow, and I'm going to just kind of move this down because I want that to be straight. The other thing I can do is I can click, I'm going to zoom in. I can click on these anchor points and just delete them if I want this to be a little straighter, and then kind of move my control handle so that's straighter. This, I'm just going to, I'm going to kind of move around some of these anchor points. So this is a little smoother. I'm going fast. You're going to want to take time and make sure these things are a lot smoother. So now I know I need the ear of my R. So I'm going to go back and take my eraser tool. I'm going to erase this part of the R. Then I can get rid of this stuff too. So I'm kind of slowly moving it that way. And then the other thing I need to do is flip this part of the letter form. So I'm going to go up to Object, Transform, Reflect. And then that will reflect that letter form. I'm going to put it right here. I want this to be the height of the X height. I think that's pretty close. So that is my first letter. And I'm going to go ahead and select all of this, and I'm going to group it. So I'm going to hit Select It All, Command G. Now this is all grouped. So I'm going to go back to my lowercase letter form, and I need the bottom loop of my G. So I'm going to take my eraser tool and get rid of this top part. And then, for some reason that didn't work. So let's do some troubleshooting. Click on my G here. So that should work. Let's go back to that eraser tool. All right, so now it's working. I don't know if maybe because it wasn't selected. Okay, and now I'm going to go to my this, and I know I need the right hand of the stem. So I'm going to take my eraser, and I'm going to get rid of this. Again, you guys are going to want to spend a little more time, and then I'm going to figure out how that goes together. And what I want to do is I want to make sure that this is the X, is the height of the X height. So I'm going to take my R, which I know is at the X height. So I'm going to make sure this kind of fits, and I think that it does. Hopefully that will work. I'm not going to clean this up, but you guys will want to clean up little areas like this. So I'm going to then take this, group it, Command G, and then I'm going to open my template. So I downloaded the template. It should be in this exercise template sample, and it's right here. So my typefaces are already Century Schoolbook. If you are not using Century Schoolbook, you'll want to select all of this type and change it to whatever your typeface is that you're working with, whether it be Bodoni or Georgia. That's how you'll want to change that first. I'm going to go back to Century Schoolbook, and I'm going to go to my letter forms, and I'm going to select both of these. Oops, I did not group those. Let me go back and group it. I select both of my letter forms, and I'm going to copy it and paste it into my template. So this is where I will put my uppercase and lowercase letter forms. You'll notice that this is kind of running into it because I have a descender. So what I'm going to do is just kind of select all of these elements and just nudge them down a little bit with my arrow key, which is totally fine if you need to do that. So the next decision I have to make is where it's going to go within the typeface. So I've decided that I want to put this between, let's see, I don't necessarily want to put it next to this. So there's really not a descender over here except for next to the Q. So I'm going to put it between the N and the O. So I'm putting my cursor in between the N and the O with my type tool. I'm going to hit it one more time, and then I'm going to zoom in. And it's very important that you drag out guides to make sure that your letter is being placed in the right area. So you're just pulling guides down from your ruler. And then I'm going to copy my uppercase letter form and paste it. And then you're going to hold down Shift and reduce the size. Holding down Shift is super important so that you get the right proportion of your letter. And I'm going to slide my G in there, or whatever my letter form is. And then I'm going to go to my lowercase, and I put it in between the N and the O. So I'm going to put my cursor here using my type tool, add a little bit of space. I'm going to pull this down here, make another baseline, and then make the descender line to make sure I'm in the right spot. And then I'm going to select my letter, copy and paste it smaller again, hold down Shift, reduce my letter, and tuck it in to where, and I can kind of go by the lowercase g as well if I want to make sure that that size is right. That looks about right. And then bring it down here. And then if I hit, and then I just make my sound. So my sound I'm just going to do as G. And that is it. So that is how you digitize your letter forms. You're using parts of letters that already exist in your typeface. Then you'll save this as a PDF, and this is what you'll upload to Blackboard and also bring a printout to class. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me, and I look forward to seeing your solutions in class.